Well, hello. This is our series reflection, or a serious reflection on the past month. Series being Kingdom Relationships.
Kingdom relationships.
Yes, focusing on how we interact and connect and do life together as a church family. And so it's been really great. It kind of started on Father's Day.
Yep.
We had a few dads up on stage with David asking the tough questions. And it was good fun, just all about what does it mean to bring a godly spiritual strength to your family, to the church, to your community. It was really cool.
Important.
Yeah, and it was good fun as well. And then we went to I spoke next on being planted in the house, which is an interesting thought in terms of what does that mean about when we're talking about kingdom relationships. And the whole idea is it's when you're planted, you're committed to these people.
Yeah.
I'm committed to you, Hanky.
Yeah.
And whatever happens along the way, I'm committed, and we'll sort stuff out, we'll deal with it, but I'm here and I'm not moving. And it's the same with you guys.
Yes,
and it should be the same with all of us, that we're planted. And I think what stands out to me in that verse, because that's very much a life verse for me, is that planted brings great strength and blessing. And that's what's happened in my life. And I see that in others. Now, you spoke the week after, didn't you?
That's correct. And I think if we, and I think what I speak about is about the victory of the conflict. So we thought we are deciding though, to be planted or to make decision to be planted for certain things. What I'm saying is pretty much not relevant, because when you have a conflict, you can run a different way. That's the quickest and the easiest way. So, but once you decide to be together, and how can we have a victory, over the differences and over the conflict? And that is what's a subject that's kind of very, spoke to me and intriguing for me.
Yes.
So I spoke about, around the Acts chapter 15, where, Apostle Paul, instead of creating his own denomination, his own church, he went all the way from Antioch to Jerusalem and to have a conversation. And then, so to focus on basically what is matter, how about the gospel. And then he chose about to be together in the unity other than just separating himself, because it's very, very easy for him. And then they having a long conversation about that. We never been written how many hours or how many days.
I remember now, it's a long conversation.
So that is actually what it is. And then once we are planted, we have victory of a conflict, and it is worth it. It is hard, but it is worth it, because the gospel being preached, people are blessed, and the congregations are blessed. So I think that's important. Then Ron speak on about discipleship. About who you imitate.
Really, who are you imitating? Who are you choosing to follow and be discipled by? It was a really, really solid message, and something that I don't know if we talk about much. And we certainly had a really great discussion in our cell about who are those guys that we're letting influence our life and that we're choosing to imitate, because they're living a godly life that honors God and is making a difference. So and because it's very easy to be individual and selfish. And what was the term he used that sort of sums up our society or culture at the moment?
Expressive individualism.
Expressive individualism. It's rampant in our culture.
Yes, that's right. And I think for me, that speak for me personally, because when we are growing, become an adult and mature and become a leaders on our own, it's a very we have to be intentionally let ourselves to be accountable to someone.
Yes.
And because I read a quote recently that when we fail to let ourselves accountable in our private life, it's usually leading to a failure in our public life. So, and I think for no matter what state of our Christianity is, we need to continuously to imitate, letting ourselves to be accountable, and submitting ourselves that basically with the heart of humility.
Exactly. I was having a conversation with someone today about the difference between being codependent and dependent on others, and then on the other side you've got independent people. That what we want is the interdependent, where we're healthy and mature and we're strong in ourselves, but we choose to connect we choose to imitate somebody else
that's very good,
living the godly life. And yeah, it was a good conversation. I think it was a great month.
It's a great month.
Some really practical things, and it was a very personal month in terms of the messages that were shared. Yes. They all came from a personal story.
Personal heartaches.
That's right, yeah. All the conflicts,
yes.
All the challenges. But that's real, that's life. And so get into it if you haven't watched it, engaged with it. And this month, we've already started, haven't we?
Yes.
And what's that one on?
Transformed.
Being transformed.
I want to repeat the transformer, but my head stuck. So.
Yeah, that's right. Very good. And anyway, have a good one. See you next time.